What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Photo Booth 101 University, the best podcast about photo booth content. We got our co-host, as always, Tyler in the house, Hans.
Guys, what's up? Welcome to Photo Booth 101 University, the best podcast ever.
Yeah, Tyler, get it.
Come on, Hans. You gotta be more excited. You gotta be like, dude.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The champ is here. Hey, so where'd you guys get the props that you're wearing? Let's real quick.
All right, Hans.
I got her on Amazon. I just put assorted props. And they have like your typical the one with the nerdy glasses and the big nose and the bushy eyebrows. So that's my favorite. And I also got some PVC ones from Drew.
Love it.
The big hard ones.
I got this on Amazon. These hats on Amazon they all came in like bulk. So this came with a bunch of different instruments. I got the piano. They gave me like a bunch of other guitars, microphones for like maybe like $10 for like a bunch of them. They came like 30 of them. So they pop a lot. They're not really like, some they last a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. They last like 4 or 5 good events, but they're very highly requested. So I don't mind to keep buying them. Like people love these things. Like I have people take them off of my prop table to go to the middle of the dance floor and they start like, and I'm like, where are they? And they'll grab the microphone, they'll pretend they're like singing. So like these are really cool. They're just, it's rubber. They're made out of rubber. So they're like, you gotta treat them like balloons, But
Yeah.
they're great. Honestly, they're great. I'll keep on buying them. They're cheap and it comes in like a pack of like 30. So it's like, okay, you break 2 or 3 here and there. You have like a ton more that comes with the packs.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so I love that. Our props are affordable too. This little hat, trust me, it looks better. I just have like the biggest head ever. But this is from 99. I think it was like 175. But during Halloween time, that's when all the deals, not the deals, but like you get a lot more props at the 99, at the Dollar Tree, at Five Below. And then this wrestling belt from Amazon. This is one of the probably the most used prop that we have besides the signs. I think I paid $15 on Amazon. It's actually for a kid. This won't actually fit around my waist. What is it, WWE? But
I don't think they're on any of our waist, to be honest. It's like kid size. But I get it. People like the whole wrestling thing, the WWE. So I see that, people say, "Oh, the champ is here. I'm holding the belt. I'm the champion." So that's cool.
Yeah, love it. So 3 things I want to talk about today is the drop off for the photo booth. I get a lot of people asking questions. I think the drop off is kind of what really allowed us to make so much money in the business and keep our time. So let's do drop off. We're going to talk about props. Obviously, we're wearing props, so it's a prop episode. And then lastly, we'll talk deposits. So I don't know if you guys want to jump in here. So to you guys, what do you think? How can you explain a drop off? Everyone's heard me talk about it. If you're telling someone that's new to the business or interested in the business, what is a drop off and why would you recommend them to do it?
I think the drop off is great if you're trying to hit those clients that are on a budget. I always start off with like my high tiers, my prints, props, backdrop, everything included, and I hit them with a high price, so they're either gonna say yes because money's not an issue for them, or they're gonna get like that shock of how expensive it is, and then be like, hey, well, if I hit you high with this number, and then you offer your lower tier drop off, then they're like, oh wow, that's like almost half the price, like, that's way better, and then they usually we'll go with that option and it's an easier one to close. If you start off with the low, like if you choose the drop off first to like, and then they're like, oh, okay, do you have anything cheaper? Like, nah, it only goes up from there. So I think it's a great way to like kind of like just hit them,
Yeah. So basically, guys, anyone watching, the drop off is exactly what it sounds like. You get hired to drop off your photo booth. It's unattended. And I don't know how you guys, I don't know if we talked about it, but I do the all day drop off because if I'm not going to be there, I don't care if they have it 3 hours, 2 hours. I'll let them have it anytime from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And in this business, with anything I do in life, really, I'm a firm believer in value. The more value you give, the more valuable you become. And the more valuable you become, the more you get in return. So I don't know, do you guys charge per hour or are you guys doing the all day thing?
I do an 8 hour drop off, so I call it all day because 8 hours, your typical work day. So I tell them like, hey, it's gonna be there for 8 hours. If they have it like really late, like, hey, we don't need it till 5, they're like, look, if you put it indoors, like in your living room or somewhere, or if it's like in a banquet hall where I'm allowed to pick it up the next day, then I'm fine leaving it overnight. But I just want to make sure that it's nice and safe, and I definitely won't do that outdoors.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do drop offs. No, I don't do drop offs. Sorry. I do the whole all day rental thing. I don't really like the whole charge you by the hour thing, because if you really think about it, you're talking like, let's say they want it for 10 hours for real. Like, obviously you can make a lot of money charging per hour. If you're charging $100 an hour and they want 10 hours, you're making $1,000 right there. But I feel like you said, it's a lot about the value. And I feel like if you give them an all day price, they're going to like that, because again, you're probably many of the few in that competition where they do just like a firm price and that's it, and not an hourly thing. So they're going to go to another photo booth vendor and see you like, okay, that photo booth vendor's charging me $150 an hour, but you're charging me $399 for the whole entire day. I'm saving money, and they're going to book you.
Mm-hmm.
So I do it like that. I do $399 just for my photo booth, just for the iPad photo booth with the shell, with the ring light, and obviously, whatever it comes with. And then obviously the add-ons, the prop table, the LED inflatable that I have, the backdrop, that's all add-ons. So that $399 could turn into $600-700 just with those add-ons, with the GIF, the boomerang, the video, the virtual backdrop, the 3D back, the green screen backdrop. So at the end of the day, they're still paying a good amount of money, but you're offering for all day. I don't care dropping my photo booth off from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. because it's still making me money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dude, yeah. And to add on to that, it's best for everyone. They get the value, they get it for the long amount of time, paying very, very little per hour when you break it down. And as a business owner, like, I'm okay with making a little bit less if I can keep my time. Like, you guys are going to notice this once you get more busy with your rental stuff. Like, there's going to come a point to where you're like, man, I wish I don't have to be here. If you're doing a print event, like, I love making money, but like, there's times where I'm at the event for prints because we'll stay there if it's prints. But like, I'm like, man, I would be okay with like, taking a $200 loss if I could spend 3 hours, at home with my wife, or like watching a movie and relaxing, because a lot of people get into this business starting off with a full-time job. You don't want to buy something that feels like a job. You hear this word passive, right? And it's like, it's not truly passive, but the drop off will make it pretty much the most passive. So for us, last year we made about 128,000, a little bit more than that, with just dropping off photo booths. And I don't think we could hit that number if we weren't doing drop offs. Because think about it, you guys, if you have one photo booth or even multiple photo booths, most events take place on the same day around the same time. We're talking usually Saturday, anywhere from like 5 to like 11 to 12. And if you have to be there at the event, you can't do two. Maybe you get lucky, you can do 2 events in one day. But if you really want to scale, and this is something probably a little bit too advanced for most people watching this, the drop off is the way to do it, because if they're having it all day, you can come at 10 a.m., then drop off the next one at 11 a.m., then the next one at 12. And that's what we did. Like, you guys, I don't know if I ever told you, but we did 11 events in one day last year with the drop off. And
That's awesome.
What I'm trying to emphasize is we had no employees. It's just my wife and I going together, and we knocked it out. Like, there was literally no way on earth we could even do half of those events if we had to stay there. So I don't know, any gems or anything you guys like to throw in there about the drop off? Because I know this gets a lot of people excited because it's kind of like a new concept. So I don't know, any info or like something you guys have learned that's valuable?
What's the good thing about? Go ahead.
Don't put your booth where it's gonna be hidden. I've had customers like, oh yeah, it was super affordable, so I could, I'll put you in the corner right there, and then like kind of like neglect you because everything else that they had expensive, like the DJ or some bouncy house or whatever they ordered, and then they put it somewhere where everybody could see it. And it's happened to me twice where like they like tuck it in a corner. I'm fine with it, but then they have a bad experience because then they're like, oh, like 5 people used it the whole party. It's like, well, yeah, you put it in a corner. So I always tell them like, hey man, like put it somewhere where people could see it, because I'm not gonna be here telling people like, hey guys, we have a photo booth, come here, come here, come here. I'm not there to like entice people to use it. So I always tell them like, put it somewhere where it's obvious, or where they could at least see it and they ask you what it is. Because if they don't see it, they're not gonna have a good experience, and they're not gonna book you, and they're not gonna recommend it.
Love that.
Yeah, I agree. Also, like you said before, Drew, I'm going to go back to what you said, where you said, the drop off is, new. It's a lot of things that it's a very advanced. But I think that even people who are just starting off in the business should consider it. Maybe, obviously, yes, start off with your first photo booth, feel out the business, understand the business first, understand your software that you use, understand, what props, everything, understand the whole business from start to finish, from A to Z, whether you're staying or you're leaving, you understand the business. I also feel like after that, then you can consider buying a second photo booth, doing the drop off, trying to learn the drop off. And then from there, you buy your third photo booth, then your fourth photo booth, then your fifth photo booth, then your sixth photo booth. And then all of a sudden, you're just dropping off like 6 different parties. And you're just, you're paid to just drop off photo booths. That's you pay, you drop it off, you go home. Drop it off, you go home. Or however you do it. Even if you have a car, go back home, drop it off, go back to your house, drop it off. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you're spending a lot of money on gas and tolls probably, but you're making it back because you're making $300 here, another $300 here. It's the average person, if they can make at least $300 a day, you're making over $100,000 a year. So, I think the drop off is great because it's good money. So even if you do it, twice a weekend, like you do Saturday and Sunday, that's $2,400 a month, in just extra money, just dropping off photo booths.
Yep. And that's a great point. And one thing with the drop-offs is really, really important. It's you have to make sure. So now we're gonna go into the part to where we're giving you guys a lot of information here. If you're doing an event, you have to make sure that the photo booth is gonna have shade, because that's one thing it's a must. You cannot leave your photo booth unattended or attended in direct sunlight. So with the drop-off, there's a lot of communication and a lot of things you need to know before the event, especially if you're not going to be there. Like a question I get asked all the time is, what happens if someone steals it? Aren't you worried they're going to break it, steal it? And you have to be an idiot to steal an iPad. The
iPad is hard. You would have to literally disconnect everything, pull it, and I'm not gonna lie. At least the Digi booth that I have, it's pretty heavy. You know what I mean? Like with the iPad in it, it's heavy. It has that, the bulky part at the bottom, that the stand, and you would literally have to hold it over your shoulders to get it out of there. People are looking like, what are you doing? Like, you have witnesses. Nobody's gonna steal the phone. I laugh at that when people ask me that, like, oh, but if you drop it off, what if like one of the people from the venue like steal the photo booth? Well, most venues and places that you're at have cameras anyways. So you have security, and then you also have a contract with that says if your photo booth gets broken, damaged, or stolen, even, because not saying it can't happen. So there are some crazy people out there like, I'm taking that, and they'll take it, but 99% of the time they're gonna get caught, unless you're at some abuela's backyard birthday party. Then, okay, I understand, but that's rare.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's a great point. And then the damages, right? Like, oh, what happens if someone breaks it? First of all, if I tell everyone, if you think that people are going to treat your equipment any better because you're there or you're not there, it's not true. You see people all the time throw the props on the floor. Sometimes little kids will stand on the booth, touch it, and like do things they're not supposed to. So, we're talking about drunk adults and little kids, which are the same. So the treating part, not necessarily a difference, but everything is replaceable. So if anyone's wanting to do a drop off and they're worried, like, let's just say they drop it, the ring light cracks. If you order a booth from us, it's $100 to replace it. We send it out to you. Not a big deal. You charge your customer 125, 150. They'll pay for it. The contracts.
Make profit off. You're making profit off the damage. You know what I mean?
A little bit.
It sucks to have to go back to the company that you bought the photo booth from. Hey, I broke my photo booth. I need to get this replaced. Okay, I have to pay this, but you're charging the customer, so it's really not coming out of your pocket. At least directly. Obviously, you have to go through some stuff to get the money from the customer, but I think most customers are willing, especially if they know it was an accidental damage, even a purpose damage. I think some customers are, hey, I'm sorry, I'll cover it, don't worry. They know they're under contract, so they know there's really no fight about it. So yeah, I think you're safe.
Yeah.
And have you seen like when customers, not like when guests come in, it's not even the host, it's the guest. They'll take a picture and then they put their phone number and they're like to the iPad, they're like boom, 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 boom. And you just start seeing slowly like the iPad thing to start like going back, and you're like, stop.
Yeah, I hate to say that's like a digi. It's the design of the digi that does that. But only thing to do, you have to make sure you crank down everything so that it doesn't really go back.
Well, either way, besides it going back, I'm talking about like, when they're like banging on the iPad and I'm like, why are you banging on the screen that hard? Like, imagine like they have such a rough finger that it does crack the iPad. Like, you're like, dang, like,
dude, I've seen a girl break her nail trying to put in her phone number. Like that thing it just popped off, like one of her fake nails. Dude, I don't know how you got. I have if something's funny, I will laugh. And it sucks because I think people falling, and sometimes it's funny to me. Like, I don't mean it to laugh at a negative way. I'm just laughing. So when it happened, I started laughing, and it was so awkward, you guys. It was so awkward because she felt embarrassed, and I'm like, like, you know, just laughing.
Hey,
But
you have to. Sometimes it's the funniest things you see at these events. You know.
yeah, dude, but like it was like her nail was literally like 3 inches long. It's one of those long ones, the fake ones.
Oh,
But
oh man.
I was gonna ask you, Hans. So for the drop off, let's say I'm a customer, and this is a question I'm sure we all hear. I want to hear your response.
Mhm.
Hans, I'm interested in your photo booth, but since no one's gonna be there, what happens if something goes wrong? What do we do? Will you be here? What do we do? Like, I'm nervous that it's gonna fail.
So as long as you're using your internet correct, so make sure that you ask them like, hey, you're gonna need Wi-Fi, so don't put it too far away from your router, you know. Um, I don't know, I guess my rule of thumb is like maybe like 30 to 40 feet maximum away from whatever router they have.
Mm.
That's how far I don't want to go any further than that. I just noticed that that's just gonna be a sweet spot for me. And then I send a live link to them just so they know. I don't know if anyone uses Luma here, but if you use Luma, it gives you a live link. You could set it up after and send it to the customer, but you're gonna have to do it anyway. So I always do it at the beginning. And this is a tip that I got from Tyler. So Tyler gave me this tip. Set up the link, and then while you're setting up, give it to the customer. So then the customer knows right away if there is something wrong. And if there is something wrong, sometimes like Luma, it glitches out because there's a drop in the data for the router. All you have to do is like really restart the app and you're good to go and it'll start sending again. But I mean that's rare. So I mean, I think the biggest concern is just them like putting it in a correct spot and like I said, putting it in shade because yeah, it's overheated for me. I learned it the hard way. So
Hmm.
Yeah, I
cover
agree.
cover everything that's gonna might malfunction.
So when
No,
you're talking about internet, you don't have cellular in your iPad?
No. I go strictly with the Wi-Fi one.
Love it. Is that your
that,
pen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
see that
I wasn't sure. I put the droop. I was
Need
like,
to
oh,
put it
are you
down.
clicking the pen?
No,
I was
see,
like,
that's where I want to politely disagree with Hans. I love the whole thing about having cellular on your iPad because, like, I've done multiple outside events, especially this past summer. I've done multiple outside events where there's no Wi-Fi to be found. Like a recent one I just did upstate New York had it was in a softball field. If I didn't have cellular, these people would never go. And this was pay per play type of thing where I would have to charge per time to go into the photo booth. So imagine like I didn't have no internet. These people are going to get their picture and just build trust on me that it's going to come within when I get internet. You know what I mean? And they're paying me money. So I love the whole idea about the whole thing about having Wi-Fi on your iPad because you could literally do it. You could do it in the middle of the ocean and you're gonna get the picture. You know what I mean? Just like your little your little hat right there. You know, you can do it in the middle of the ocean and you'll still get the picture right there and then. So I always send a live link to the customer, and I feel like when you're like leaving the event, when you're doing the drop off, and the customer tries to complain, like, try to, finesse you a little bit and complain and say, oh, throughout this time, this hour and this hour, none of us got our pictures. Nothing was sent. But the thing about that I don't know if they know or they don't know, is that we also have access to that live gallery. Majority of the softwares out there, I'm not going to name any, but majority of the softwares out there all have a live
oh,
gallery.
you can name one. You can name them.
Oh, okay. I'm saying like Salsa, LumaBooth, Curator Live, all of them, they all have live galleries where you and the host can see it. Like for example, Salsa has an app on my phone where I have it on my phone. Like it's an app that I downloaded off of Apple. And I had a time where I went to an event and it was a far event. So I stood, but it was like a hybrid. I was like coming and going. So I went out to eat with my wife, and they were trying to complain, say, oh, within the times that you were gone, nobody got their pictures. And I literally went on the app and I showed them. And I'm like, from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., all these pictures were being sent. If not, I would have got notified on the app that it was being queued. So, then she kind of looked and she was like, oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. They would, some of the guests were complaining saying they didn't get their pictures. So I would look and I'm like, no, they got their pictures. It says sent. I said, if they do have if they didn't get their pictures, I could send you the live gallery and you could either send it to them, or if they trust me, give me their phone number and I'll send them their pictures. Easy as that. Easy as that.
It's as easy as finding a solution. As business owners, it's
right
not
away.
panicking, it's not freaking out. We're talking about technology, so stuff happens.
Exactly.
It's communication. Whenever I do a drop off, when they do on our booking form, there's a button where they have to read some terms. In those terms, it says if internet is bad, you guys everyone will get their photos. They just have to wait. So that's step one. And then in the contract they sign, it's also there stating stating that they have to wait if the signal drops. So that's 2 times they've seen that. The third time is the day we show up to the event. I tell them, whoever's there, hey, this is the case. So I've done it 3 times, and still sometimes the client will call and they'll freak out. I just have to tell them politely, like, hey, look, we told you this. I don't say it like that. I just say, like, yeah, just a reminder again. It's the internet, and once we get there, everyone will get their photos.
Okay.
And it's not even a big deal. Like, look, I also want to talk about too, right? Since we're talking about, Hans has his Wi-Fi only iPad and you and I have the cellular. The difference there, you guys, if you're watching, you have 2 options for your iPad. You can have it, one with Wi-Fi only, meaning you have to connect to an outside source, whether that's a hotspot device or a router. And then you have Wi-Fi plus cellular iPad, which is going to cost you more money. They're always more expensive because it has the cellular option. That means that you have the Wi-Fi option, but you can also get your phone carrier to get internet service, just like your cell phone, right? An iPad can literally turn on and connect to the internet. And it's just more convenient, to have it cellular. But I think everyone should invest in a hotspot device. If you want to take this business serious, you should never just rely on your client's internet. Sometimes, like you said, Tyler, it's bad. We do our cellular, and there's been times where the cell service was weak. So the hotspot actually came through a little, like just a few times. So I'm a little OCD. If you're starting off, I get it. You may not want to buy another thing. You may not want another monthly bill. I get it. The cell service, it could be overkill. But yeah, man, I don't know. Anything else here, you guys? Let's just give out more information. Anything else you think is useful for someone watching this that's considering doing the drop off?
So the reason why I only got the Wi-Fi only iPad is because I ended up getting a dedicated cell phone for the business when I started. So it already came with 2 gigs of hotspot. So that's what I use, and it has 2 gigs. And then my personal phone has 2 gigs. So if I run out of the 2 gigs on my business one, I'll have the other 2 gigs on my hotspot on my personal one. So I have 4 gigs total for the month, and I've noticed that that's way more than enough hotspot data to do at events. And then if I leave, I obviously don't leave my phone, so that's why I rely on Wi-Fi. So I guess that's the downside.
Love it, love it.
I just, like I said, I'll repeat myself. I just think the drop off is definitely a big way to make a lot of money, especially in this business. Like, it's great. I am one of those who started off, I do still have one photo booth. And I am one who did start off staying at my events, and slowly but surely, I was one of those people who were like, I don't want someone to break my stuff when I'm gone or damage it. But then I noticed that most people treat your stuff the same, whether you're there or not. So, like, they might be a little more cautious, but like, they treat your stuff the same. So, like, you're just wasting your time kind of staying there. There's benefits. Most venues let you eat there, so you get to chill there, hang out, listen to good music sometimes. But the good part about having your freedom is if you do the drop off, it becomes passive at that point. You get to go to the movies, spend 2 hours at a movie while you're waiting to go pick up your photo booth. And even if it's far from your house, find something local in that area and just hang out, go to a restaurant, go to a mall over there, go to somewhere that TikTok recommends you to go to. There's always places that TikTok recommends people to go to and go see. So it becomes passive and it becomes fun because you could take that money, unless you have other plans with it, take that photo booth money the day that you get it and say, well, I have an extra $400. Let's go to the movies. Like, I'll be back in 2 hours. Like, it gives you something to do. It's fun.
Love it. Yeah. Love it. And then just some pro tips here from an OG in the game with the drop offs. The thing you have to get in the habit of doing is when you drop off your photo booth is right when it's set up, you film every little aspect of your booth, right? Because you're not going to be there. You want to record the back of the booth, the front of it, your backdrop, the prop table, which we'll talk about right after this. You want to film it if you have props there, every single prop. You want to get a quick little video, but you want to be OCD. You want to get every little inch. And then when you go to pick up the booth, guess what? Same exact video. So if anything happens to the booth, when you pick it up, you have video 1 for reference. So that means that something happened in between first video and the second video. And another pro tip is if you're using LumaBooth or another software that will allow you to do automatic settings for the camera, like the ISO, the shutter speed, all of that, leave it on automatic. Because if you drop off a photo booth, right, in a venue at, let's just say 2 p.m. and the lights are on and you set the settings to manual, if they turn the lights off, then the camera's going to, the photo's going to look terrible. So letting the app do that is very, very crucial. Another pro tip is leaving the photo booth 4 to 5 feet back from the backdrop, right? As you guys know, the further you put the photo booth, especially iPad photo booths, the light doesn't travel, it doesn't travel well. So the closer the better. And there's also something I think, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I love getting into a photo booth and having to squeeze in with all of my friends and family versus having a really wide shot to where we could do this. And it's just funner when it's tight, you know?
Because you get like that bond, like you're like together, like a group photo, like hey, like group hug, let's take this picture together. I get what you're saying, like it's fun, and being able to have the photo booth so close, it's kind of like the old days, like when you're going to the mall and you see one of those photo booths, you got to literally squeeze in that little box. Like I think only like 2 people could fit in there realistically, but I've seen sometimes where like 4 people will go in there, squeeze in real tight. So why not have it the same feeling at your wedding or your sweet 16 or your birthday party?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So let's transition here, you guys. Let's talk about props. And I'll take the first one here. If you're doing props at a drop off, make sure you have some really inexpensive props because they will get stolen, they will get broken. People will take them, like Tyler mentioned earlier, from your prop table to the dance floor. Where do you guys get your props? What's your number one source of props, like your favorite place?
The silly props I got from Amazon. I also got a tip going to the 99-cent store. I mean, you have a YouTube video, so that's literally like a gold mine right there for props. And then the PVC props, I got them from your store. So
Yeah, prop signs.
So like I said, I get my props from Amazon. And pretty much the hats, the glasses, everything's on Amazon because everything's cheap on Amazon. And the one thing I could say about props is that unless they're like PVC props, like I said, if I were to get PVC props, I don't have any yet. I'm looking to get some for a couple weddings I have coming up, and I'm gonna probably get them from Drew's site because Drew has great props, guys. So try to plug his stuff right here real quick. Get it from photobooth101.com. Get it today because they're great props. I haven't had them directly, but everybody on your on the group says the props are good. They're durable. So I'll definitely get them from there. And plus, you don't sell them for like a bad price. They're I've seen a lot of like other PVC props for sale, and they're like $100 more. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's too expensive. And back to what I'm saying with this, props break all the time. They tear, they rip. Especially the balloon ones. Like I said, they pop here and there if you squeeze them or if you pull them or whatever. The hats tear. Obviously after a while, wear and tear. You have people wearing the same hats over and over again. Got to sanitize them so things wear out. The paint tears off. You name it. Anything happens to your props. So I see props as like kind of like something in your business that you have to understand that it's going to be a loss. It's going to be a loss, but it's something you're going to always have to keep buying, just like any other business. If you're in a car detailing business, you got to keep up my cleaning supplies. It's just something in the business that we have to just keep on replacing over and over and over. But it's fun because you get to kind of recycle your props and get new ones. Okay, I didn't like those other props. I'm gonna buy a different set of hats this time. It's fun because you get to shop around, and every party you have different props, so people can say, oh, these people always have different types of fun props and stuff like that.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. A thing I see often is a lot of photo booth owners overdoing it. I've seen some prop tables and it's like there's so much going on. Some people even have 2 tables. I'm a big believer in less is more. My prop table to some people may look light, but you don't want to have too many props because guess what? That means more props equals more mess. More mess is a bad customer service if you're there at the event. I think it's a good mixture. This is just my own opinion of having some nice PVC the sign props, right? You mix that up with some mid-tier props like this one here, like $15, $20, and then you have your cheap props like the glasses, like the ones Han's wearing. I think those they sell some like a Dollar Tree. You get like a 3-pack for $1.
Yeah, the Dollar was great. Party City, all those stores. I think it's good. You go to, I see a lot of your videos on TikTok. Hey guys, Drew here from Photo Booth 101. I want to show you guys where I get my props. And you literally walk them right through to the dollar store. A lot of those Spirit Halloweens and Halloween stores, especially after the holidays over, they're marked down like 50% off, like 75% off. That's the best time. Christmas decorations, even going to the dollar store and buying like, I don't know if you ever walked through like the holiday section and they have like those little like those frames that you can hang on your door that says like Merry Christmas and stuff that have like the little string that you hang up on your door. Cut the strings off and make it like it's basically a wooden PVC prop at that point.
Yep, absolutely.
Can't beat that.
For sure. Yeah. Props is just a small part of the game. We with the drop off, we have everything as an add-on, right? So if they want the prop table, that's $50 they have to pay for. Most of the time, you guys, they don't get it. That's probably the one upgrade for the drop off that they don't get, because the software has digital props, which I tell everyone is available for them. And it's crazy because a lot of people have, I'm sure you guys have experienced this, but I've recently, and this is something new within the last year or so, customers bringing their own props. All the time it happens to me now. And they
And they
suck.
bring
They're always terrible, by the way, but
they bring those props that have like the little the stick. And
yes,
it's like paper, but hey, listen, it's your party. You could do whatever you want, enjoy it. As long as you're having a good time with the photo booth, bring whatever props you want.
yep.
I do enjoy the digital props. I've used it for only one event. I opened it up for, I asked people if they want it. If not, I won't even put it up on the software as an option. But is that something? I do have a question for you, Drew. Is that something that you charge for? It's just something I want to learn. So like, if it's additional charge.
We don't, but we're gonna start. Well, we do charge for custom props, and that's
Okay.
that's $100 activation, where we'll take like photos of the bride and groom and then crop out their heads. So
Make like
their
big
head is
heads.
a digital prop. Yeah, so
Oh.
LumaBooth makes it really easy to import props. So we'll do that. We've done it a few times. There was like a Star Wars themed wedding, so we just took some images online and then made it into a PNG. Probably took us maybe 15 minutes, to be honest. And we made $100.
I would
Yeah.
love to do it. That's my goal. I want to do a themed wedding. That is my goal of TKR events, is to do a themed wedding. I need to do something Star Wars, Halloween theme. It'll be cool. I would love to, actually, my wife's big goal right now is to do a wedding on Halloween, because I don't know why. She loves the Halloween season. Like she wants to do like a I don't know, like a Michael Myers themed wedding or something like that, or like a Frankenstein, just something. She just wants to, that's the goal, to do some type of themed wedding on it, like a holiday.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
so
get
I
that.
want to touch on that prop table though. When I first started, I was offering it for free on my drop-offs. I was only giving them like 6 or 7 PVCs, but the reason why I was offering it for free when I started off is because I wanted somewhere to place my business cards because I want callbacks. So, I mean, if you're just starting off and you need a place to like leave your business card in a little business card holder, that's a great place because they're gonna be touching the props and they're gonna see your business card there. And if you're doing a drop off, they can't ask you for a business card, so it's right there. So I don't know. It worked for me starting off. It was a great place to leave my business cards and it worked. So
That's
And
a
I
great
want to touch back. I want to touch back to what Drew said about like a lot of people like overdoing their prop table. And I think I was one of those people when I first started. I like just threw all my props that I bought on there, and I realized I kind of got to maybe minimize it so I could fit the business cards and maybe like a little flyer that I could put to the corner. Hey, this is, scan my QR code and see all my stuff. But what I am going to start doing, and I just bought one recently online, is that for like more formal events and more corporate events, I feel like they don't want you to have a lot of space, because they want more space for the dance floor, the cocktail table, and all that stuff. And that brings me to where I came up with the idea, and I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, and you guys could disagree. I actually ordered a cocktail table that and I bought the cover, a cocktail cover, just like a regular table, like a prop table. And it's just for more like formally, because I feel like for more formal events, they want the PVC props, they want maybe a couple pairs of glasses. So it's like something that you could fit in a smaller, like circular looking table. So I bought like a decent size, cocktail table. I got the black cover, same thing like my big 6-foot table. And I'm just gonna put like a little thing, like a stand with all my PVC props that I'm gonna get, and then a couple pairs of glasses, maybe like one hat or 2 hats, something like not too crazy. And throw some business cards and stuff, because I feel like it's cornered, it's not all crazy all over the place. And I feel like it looks more formal because it's like a cocktail table, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's something I just thought about. I never really saw anyone else do it. Kind of something I thought like, wow, this would be cool, like just cornered next to like the backdrop, or even in my LED inflatable, the cocktail table could literally go in the corner of my LED inflatable. You won't even see it in front of the photo booth. So it'd be cool because I can actually have the table in the photo booth.
Yep.
So
Yeah, for sure.
Something I thought about.
Love that. Love that. All right, you guys. So we're going to take a quick break. This episode sponsor is photobooth101.com. So enjoy this quick commercial. We'll be right back. Photo Booth 101, I guess, you can or you can't, Yeah. Welcome back. So yeah, we changed up the props here. Tyler and I both rocking the pineapple, Hans with the beer glasses.
your goggles.
Beer.
And I got beer. Look at that. Got beer.
Love it. All right. So let's shift the conversation here, right? I think we pretty much covered the whole prop thing. I wanted to talk about deposits here, you guys. And I know we talked about this before. let's just get it right to it. If I'm a customer, I reach out to you guys and I don't want to give you a deposit, what's your response?
No reservation. Easy as that. I
My
don't
my
trust
response.
you, and you're gonna skip me over for someone else, or you might like you're price shopping. I'm not gonna deny another sell or another event. Potentially, you just canceling and just be like, never mind, I got a better price, or something happened, like, and I denied like 3 other events because of that.
Yeah, no, I agree with Hans. I feel like putting a deposit kind of secures the date. So even at the end of the day, if they do cancel it, you got $100 out of them. Some people even ask for more. Some people ask for 25% on a deposit. And that's okay. That's your business strategy. Cool. And I started off like that, where I was like, I need 25%. And I noticed that people were kind of like, I'll hit you up later. And then they won't hit me up. And then I started the whole thing like Drew was doing, the whole $99 deposit or $100 deposit, however you want to look at it. And all of a sudden I see people, okay, I can throw $100. Like to them, $100 is nothing. I'm like, okay, pay the rest either 24 hours before or the day of cash. And they do it. And, it's great. And it's been working out very well like that. And that they secured, so no one else is going to take it. Because I was one who, when I first started, I was, everyone learns, you learn your lessons, where I wasn't taking deposits. And the day would come or a couple days would come, oh yeah, I have to cancel because something came up. My fish drowned. And I'm like that sucks because I had 3 other people ask me for that date and I said I couldn't because I had another event.
Yeah, no,
And that event got canceled.
absolutely. And using the word deposit is kind of tricky because, the word deposit it's usually for real estate, right? Or rental property when you're renting something that you give money as a deposit and you're getting it back. So if you're going to say the word deposit, you have to say the word non-refundable deposit, meaning that there's no way they're getting that back. So in the industry, like the professionals will call it a retainer. That is kind of legally the word you should be using. But, if most people don't know what a retainer means, so if you're going to say deposit, make sure it's non-refundable. And I'm different for a lot of other photo booth owners. I will give refunds, even though I call it non-refundable, but it depends on the situation. If someone, a week before the event they want to cancel because they went over budget, too bad. You're not getting your money back. But if you message me and say like, hey, my dad died, I'm going to give you your money back.
Exactly.
I don't want that on my conscience. I'm okay to bend the rules and to do it because I don't want to be known for the company that is taking money from grieving people because I'm trying to, make money off of them. So I don't know how you guys feel. Like, are there situations when you will give the money back?
Yeah, I agree. No, I do agree. I feel like I've never been in a situation like that so far. It's either they just canceled on me and said, hey, I can't do it. But that's when I wasn't asking for deposit. Now, post asking for deposit, I've never had a situation where someone canceled because I feel like they now feel like they're obligated to book me. But if I was in a situation like this where someone said, oh, like, I went over budget, or like, hey, like, I just feel like the photo booth's not going to be a hit at my party, then too bad. Sorry, I'm going to keep your $100 and I'm just going to tell you, hey, it's a non-refundable deposit and that's it. But if someone does come up to me, whether, again, people are crazy out there to lie about things like this, but if they've come up to me and say, hey, listen, my dad died, my mom died, or my grandma died, or someone in their family died, and they just say, hey, listen, I'm still going to do the event, but I just, I need to pay for some funeral expenses, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Fine, take the $100. And, I feel like that puts more of a good review on you because at least, hey, listen, can you just put a review on my Google page and say like, I'm a good business, even though we didn't work together. And, hey, listen, I had a situation, my dad passed away and this company gave me my money back. They kind of stretched the ball for me a little bit. They're a great company. Book them for your photo booth.
Tyler, you're a gangster, man. You're gonna ask someone grieving for a review. I love it. Damn.
Yeah,
Hey,
I want
sorry.
at least out of anything, give me a review. Yeah, I feel bad. Look, they got their money back. At least, hey, give me a review.
Hey, sorry for your loss. Here's a link to my Google business. You don't have to you don't have to
You're gonna make me look like crap, man. Oh man, I feel bad. Hey, listen, at least leave me. Oh man, I don't think people are speaking.
I've only had a situation where a lady just told me that her husband was in like heart surgery, but she told me it's like, hey, we just need to push it back for like, I think she pushed it back like 2 months because he needed to recover, and I was totally okay with that. And I do mention that like, look, I won't cancel it, but I will give you like credit for your next event. So like that's something that you could do, and I've done it. So
Credit works. I never thought about that. Look, we all learn new things on this podcast, even us.
Yeah, no, that's standard. It's like that's a good point. Is you give them credit for a future event. But you always have to make sure too, like there will be a possibility that that date may not be available because obviously you may have a booking there. So yeah, that's great. Is if you're gonna keep the money, then you always leave another event open down in the line. Um, Another thing with deposits too, right? Like I am in a different position to where I can give my customers the luxury of only having to pay $99 for the deposit, for the non-refundable deposit. But like if you're starting off, I tell everyone, I think asking for 40 to 50% upfront is a great tactic to have because it's going to allow you to get more money. It's more cash flow, right? When you're starting off, you're going to get more of that money to recover what you invested. But I think it's a great point to be where you have your money back from your investment. You have money coming in to where you can allow your customers to have the flexibility to pay you at a later date. And it all comes down to value. Every single strategy, every single thing in my rental business is to give the customer as much value as possible. So we do $99. Tyler, I'm not sure what you do, and Hans, I'm not quite sure. What do you guys ask for?
I took your advice from the beginning, $100.
Cool.
Yeah, no. So in the beginning, I was doing like a 25% down, and I noticed that a lot of people were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna reach back out to you," because like if I charge like $600-700, and I'm like, "Okay, well, I need $200 up front," they're like, "Yeah, we'll hit you back up later," because they don't got the money right there. They're just looking for a quote right there. And if I say, "Hey, sign the contract by tomorrow," and I need $200, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, no." But if I did take your advice after a while, I'm like, you know what? Let me do this whole thing. Let me ask for a $99 deposit, $100, however you want to look at it. It's pretty much rounded out to $100. They're like, okay, I have $100 to spare. I could, swipe my credit card real quick or give you, send you Cash App, whatever, $100 here. And then I tell them, pay the rest the day of the event, at least 1 hour before the event, pay us. I tried to influence them to pay 24 hours before, just in case any Zelle gets messed up, Cash App gets messed up. Like you said, technology's technology. But I try to say, if you are going to pay the day of the event, just give me cash. I know it's not that hard for them to go to ATM, grab the rest of the money, or go to the bank. Hey, give me cash the day of, and I'm happy with that. And then I'll set up, and then boom, there's the party.
Dude, I didn't think about it like that too. Is your deposit price could actually help you land jobs. There could be some people that want to book a photo booth, but may not have that 40% of whatever it is, or 50%. That's insane. Yeah, I just thought of it as a convenience of having to put a little bit, but your deposit could actually help you in that way. Also too, since we're talking about, you brought up the whole or since we're talking about deposits, let's talk about how to get the rest of the balance, right? We do 2 weeks to a week, depends on the customer and what type of event, but it's usually about a week before the event. We'll let our customers pay the rest via online, whether that's our website, PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, Venmo. If there's a way for them to pay it and we can do it, we'll offer it. Or what I encourage, and this is some free game here for anyone watching, if you want to run a cash business, is you can allow them to pay cash, but it has to be the day of the event, because no one's going to, actually, I don't want to say no one. I've had a few people do it, but they can pay you before you set up, and it's non-negotiable. Like, we will not bring any pieces of equipment out until we have our balance paid in cash. Because you don't want to get into a point to where, it's happened too, right? Where people want to pay online the day of the event. Oh, I've never used Zelle before. I didn't know that you have to connect your bank account. So it becomes an issue, and there's nothing worse than trying to get paid after the event or even during the event. So
yeah,
you guys ever run into any issues where like the payment, even if you're starting off, like any type of, like, have you ever had to chase a customer down to get paid after the event or during?
I have.
I had to do it for some extra time. So the guest, my first event actually, she went overtime. She was getting to overtime, and she was already like, took a couple drinks and stuff. And I went up to her and her husband. I'm like, hey, listen, like, we're about to sit down. We're about to take stuff down. You have a line full of people here at this photo booth. I'm giving you the opportunity. Do you want to keep us for the last 2 hours of your event? And the husband was like, no, I'm good. Okay. And then the wife was like, yeah, no, I want the photo, but the line's bugging. Like, the line's like super like popular right now. And I'm like, okay, well, I need the extra $75 per hour I asked for on, as per contract, and they're like, oh, but we already gave you the cash. How do we pay you? And I'm like, they're like, can we pay you after the event? And I'm like, you have two choices. You either crack open some of those birthday cards and give me some cash, or we have to do Zelle online payment. Yeah, you can laugh, Drew. It's okay. It's
I
funny.
love it.
I was like,
No,
you gotta
I'm all for it, bro.
open those birthday. yeah, crack open those birthday cards, and obviously they, went on the phone and they're like, oh well, do you have this? Do you have that? I'm like, yeah, Cash App. I started to show them, and they were just like, give me such a hard. They were trying to make excuses to push it as long as they can, so people in the line were like could use the photo booth, so they could be like, oh no, there's no one else in line. You're good. You can leave. Like, no, pay me now. I need it now. Like, if not, I'm gonna have my helper close the photo booth until I get paid. So I didn't want to be rude because I don't want to come out rude to these people because they booked us and we want to show a good impression for the next people who might want to book us there. So they ended up just cracking, like I said, they cracked open that envelope and they said, "Here's $100," and I stood for the extra, hour some change.
Love it. Hey, you're treating your business like a business. Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing like that's good. I'm happy you did that because you don't want to put yourself in a position to where you have to rely on someone to give you money. And we're talking about parties. Sometimes people drink, they may say things they don't remember, and that's happened, especially if there's no proof of that conversation. So all for it. My new slogan is crack that birthday card open, man. I love it.
I love it. No, and it came out. It came out like when you talk, sometimes things just come out of your mouth. You're like, "Whoa, I didn't think about that before I said that." I didn't say it rudely. I'm like, "Hey, well, there's two choices you could do if you don't have any online payment that you could do, or you don't have anything on you." I said you could crack open those birthday cards. It was a birthday party. I said you could crack open some of those birthday cards, or you could just pay me through Zelle. And they were just trying to push it. Oh, like how do I download Zelle, or how do I download Cash App? Like I don't have Cash App. I could sign up for one right now, but they're like kind of like I felt like they were kind of like doing that like in a way to like so that line that was there could like kind of take all their photos so they could turn around and say, oh well, all the people took the photos, you could leave now. And then I just wasted 30-40 minutes trying to get extra money that people were still using the photo booth for free. So I was like, no, crack open those envelopes. I'm gonna get a shirt that says like TKR events, crack open them envelopes.
Love it, dude. Yeah. Hans, what about you, man? You ever have to chase someone down for payment?
Yeah, I did. I had to chase him down. I I I wouldn't say threatened, but I told him like, look, like there's literally 5 minutes left. If we don't, because they wanted to push it an hour more. I was like, if we don't get the, because they already knew they're gonna have to push it. They told me they were potentially gonna push it back, and that's happened to me a couple times. We're like, hey, we're potentially, but they always pay like right before, like when I ask them an hour before is usually when I tell them. And then like I chased her down. I was like, look, we're leaving. Like there's 5 minutes till your end time. As soon as it hits 5 minutes, we're packing up, we're leaving. We're already like, she sees us gathering the stuff. And I had to chase her down for like that hour. And then she was saying, like, oh, I'm just trying to scrape some money from like some gas, pitch in so we could. And then she goes up to her husband. Her husband pulls a wallet and he has a fat wad of cash. I mean, like, he looked like a drug dealer, dude. It was bad, dude. I'm like, bro, you did not have to scrape money. But it made me laugh because it's like she finally goes to the husband and he's like, oh, he looked annoyed and he's like, all right, how much you need? And I was like, whoa. I was like, dude, you had it the whole.
You should have made up like some crazy number. Like, yeah, I need an extra like $200 since you look since you're looking like a billionaire over here with your stack of cash. I would have been like, yeah, it's an extra $150 actually.
It wasn't even like in a wallet. That's how fat it was because it was way too fat to be in a wallet.
It's not like rubber banded up and stuff, right?
I didn't see that.
Freaking what's that dude's name? El Chapo, huh?
Yeah, dude. Seriously,
dude. Dang. So let's see, man. What else? What other value here, you guys, for deposits? Again, I think, look, in this business, and this is just to everyone. I'm not just talking to us. You guys already know this. It's not always about the people you say yes to. It's about the people you say no that can actually determine your business and how successful you are. Because if someone doesn't want to give you a deposit, that is the best thing in the world because that's going to tell you what type of customer they're going to be, right? People that don't want to leave deposits have trust issues. Usually they've been scammed, and that's baggage I don't want to take. And it's always those people that don't want to pay the deposits usually end up, and just from my experience, that are expecting so much out of you and usually end up paying the least. And I like to express this. So this is the last gem. I'll talk about this. And then you guys can, if whatever you want to add is when I explain the deposit to people, why we do it, I don't just say it's for us. I also say this is actually for you to guarantee you paying us make sure that we don't rent our photo booth out to someone else. Because once we commit to you, there could be someone willing to get our photo booth rental and pay double the price. But since we've already taken this deposit, we're committed to you. So it's not just for us, it's also for you. And when you
commitment.
word it like that, people are like, okay, actually that makes sense. Let me give you this money, you know? So
I've had situations like that where, you know, I took a deposit and, you know, they kind of gave me a hard time to get one. And I'm like, hey, listen, okay, well, you don't want to do deposit, fine. You know, I don't really try to say fine, but I'm like, you know, hey, if someone offers something better than you and there's no deposit, I'm taking it, you know, sorry, like deuces, like that's it. And also another good thing about deposit, as far as benefit for us, you know, take that little short deposit, $100 deposit, and you know, try, you know, I personally I like the cash method. I like, hey, pay me the day of cash, because you know I'm not a CPA, I'm not an accountant, but let's just say I like cash, and that's how far I'm gonna go with that. I like cash,
the
and
IRS has entered the chat.
oh my god.
No, but
Yeah, no,
honestly, you're right.
like
Yeah, no,
I
you're
like
right.
cash.
There's obvious
You know,
benefits
it's
of
something.
taking. There's
There's
benefits of having
benefits,
a cash
especially.
business. So
Yeah, there's benefits. You know, if you have an LLC, if you don't have an LLC, you know, we'll get into that on another episode. We're definitely gonna have to talk about that in one of these episodes coming up soon. So you know, I'm not a tax guy, I'm not a CPA, but I like cash. I like to take it, and it's just something that benefits me at the end during the tax season. Let's just say that.
mhm,
The
mhm.
IRS has entered the chat.
Yeah, Hans, what about you, man? Anything else about the deposits?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward, man. I don't mess with anybody that doesn't. If they don't want to do deposit, don't bother. Keep that date open, man.
Yeah.
Just tell them like nothing's guaranteed. I always just tell them like, look, nothing's guaranteed if you don't do the deposit. So, you know, I don't even mess with it. I don't.
Yeah, yeah. And lastly, too, last thing I want to talk about too is the with the deposits, it's something you're gonna have to it's hard to ask for a lot of people, and you guys have no problem with it because you guys have done it already, but it's hard to ask for it. But always, what I'm trying to get at is with the deposits, make sure you're telling your customers that this is going towards the balance. I know I said the last thing was the last thing I'm going to talk about, but with the deposits, you have to make sure that you're telling them that it's going to come out of the balance and it's not something that they're going to get back. So again, guys, get into the habit, call it a retainer. I know I this whole video I've been calling it deposits, and so is everyone else here, but retainer is legally the best word to say it, to call it that way. There's no confusion of what that money is. And if you're gonna not take my advice, make sure it's non-refundable, because deposit, it's like you rent a house. Again, I'm just saying this, repeating it because it's very, very important. Is usually they're expecting to get it back. So I've had it happen in the past. I don't know if you guys have happened. It's only happened twice where someone has asked for the money back because I was calling it a deposit.
Yeah, no, I've never had this situation. What I usually do is I put on my contract that you know that I made. I put it that basically you're putting $100 deposit, and your remaining balance the day of the event is, let's say for example it's a $500 event and I'm charging, you know, $100 deposit. I say the remaining balance will be $400, 10/27/2023. You know, so they understand that they already paid $100 out of the 500, and their remaining balance is $400 because they know, okay, that's the remaining balance. They know what's left over, so they know that they're not getting that $100 back. And I do write in the contract it's a non-refundable retainer deposit. But you know, some people do get the misconception. They're like, hey, after the event, they're like, hey, can I get the $100 back? Like, I really need it, and they're like, you're not getting that back. That's not refundable. Sorry. Like, and you know, then you kind of feel awkward, and you're like, damn, like, how do I explain that to them that it was non-refundable? You just gotta say it, like, oh no, that was non-refundable. So I think the more things you make clear in your business, whether it's the deposit, whether it's you know, what time you're gonna get there, I feel like the more clear and the more big and bold you make everything in your contracts and stuff that you want known out there, put big and bold on your contract so you know at the end of the day there's nothing they could fight with you about.
Absolutely. Yeah. So to wrap it up, you guys, as always, every episode, let's talk about this past weekend. Any events? If so, what were they? What did you guys make?
Yeah, so I actually got it from someone from a network from. I actually met him doing my other business, Tito Soros, some mechanical bulls. We started hooking up and helping each other out. He sent me a rental not so long ago for a mechanical bull, and then this time he was talking with a client and they needed a photo booth, and I was like, I'll take care of you, and you know, so I got a quinceañera booking, literally like 3 days ago for this weekend. So, you know, I already worked on the template. I'm ready to go.
What for last weekend though? You had a rental?
Uh, no, I got the booking 3 days ago for this weekend for the
Oh,
Saturday.
no, for last weekend. Did you do an event?
For photo booths,
Mhm.
I I think I was doing something, but it wasn't photo booth. I don't remember.
Was it bull related?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Tyler?
Yeah. So Sunday I did a my first ever Barbie themed birthday party. That was awesome. It was for my cousin actually. So it was cool as a family event. I got to hang out with family, drop out the photo booth, and I got paid for it. She paid me. Obviously she asked for the family discount, which we'll get into that on another episode about discounts and stuff like that. But I did give her a good hookup for it. Still got paid very well, and I got to drop it off. My wife got to do the Barbie box with the balloons, so she was very excited to do that. It was a project that took her couple days to do and get together, but my wife does all the balloon stuff. But as far as the photo booth, I set up the nice little sparkle golden pop backdrop. That was cool. I got to use that for the first time. Never used it before, so Drew, kudos to you, because that thing is awesome.
Sweet.
People loved it. They were talking about it, so there's this is nice. It fits the Barbie theme because it's all sparkly gold pop. Then I made the template and stuff, which was cool. I always wanted to do, for some reason, I know obviously, I'm a guy, but I always wanted to do a Barbie event. I was like, oh, so cool. Like, doing, like I said, I like the themed events. I like having a themed event because it gives me more like motivation and like to say, oh man, I can't wait to make this template. Like, it's not just like, oh, it's a black and white themed birthday party, or oh yeah, put gold, white, and brown on there. Like, that's boring. Like, I want something themed. Like, give me a Jurassic Park themed birthday party. Like, I want to be able to make a cool template for you. And again, templates and stuff we'll talk about on another episode. I think that's great for another episode, but maybe for the next episode, let's talk about it.
Yes. What'd you guys make, if you don't mind sharing?
I made $500.
Love it. Yeah. So for us last weekend, we had more than one event, but we only had one drop off because we have a lot of people picking up booths. We think we did $500, 450, 500. It was just for the booth backdrop. They didn't get any other upgrades. This was just one of them where they didn't want like too much. But like, yeah, Hans, so I know you didn't have an event last week. We actually don't have any drop offs this upcoming weekend, which is the first. It's the first time in probably well over like a year and so where we had a Saturday.
Sometimes we need a break, I feel like, and I've heard this from you when I first started, where I was like, hey, I can't wait to get events. And I even heard it out of your mouth. You said it. You said, you know what? There's going to come a time 2, 3, 4 years down the line where you're going to miss this being slow type of thing. Obviously, yes, making the money is awesome. I love being able to have an extra $500 or $600 in my pocket every week, or $1,000, or whatever, even if it's $100. I love to have the extra money. But I noticed now that I'm gradually more getting booked, like October is packed for me. October, I had an event Sunday. Now this week I have an event Saturday, Sunday, and then the following weekend I have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then after that on the 27th I have a balloon event with a balloon and a photo booth event with the Latin Grammys, with another photo booth 101 member, Eduardo. And it's kind of a duo thing. He doesn't want to pop out the photo booth. He wants to use his 360. He just feels like running both at the same time is going to be hard. So he reached out to me. We're in the New York area together.
Shout out to him.
That's a cool thing that he reached out to me. So kudos to him, Eduardo. I'm shouting you out. I told you I was. So it's cool. We get to work together. I get to bring the photo booth. I'm not sure if it's like the Latin Grammys that I think it is. He says it's sponsored by Chase. I don't think it's like the big, like Bad Bunny's going to be there, but it's like some type of smaller version of a Latin Grammys. But either way, it's cool. It's something that I get to promote on my business, that TKR events got to be part of the Latin Grammys sponsored by Chase. That's awesome. Another thing next to Nike. And that's awesome,
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's amazing. Yeah, no, we have events, but just not on Saturday. We don't have any drop offs. We have a couple pickups. I think we have an event on Sunday, but I'm gonna be able to freaking relax.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So let's just go ahead. We'll wrap this episode up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're listening on Spotify or if you're on Apple Music, you guys want to, again, as always, plug your rental companies. People can check you guys out.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Best Photo Booths LA. You can find me at bestphotoboothsla.com. Give it a click.
I'm always here on Instagram, TKR_events. I'm going to get the website going very soon. It's coming into play. But hey, listen, guys, I know you're listening on Spotify, Apple and all that stuff. It's great to listen in your car. But you want that one-on-one interaction with us. You want to see our real interaction. Go to Hustle with Drew on YouTube. You will find that on there, and you will be able to see us live in person talk about this. So we are not just over on your on your headphones. That's great. You want to go to the gym, you want to go drive home from work and listen to it, cool. But definitely peep us out on YouTube, guys. Peace
Love
is
it.
out.
And also, if you are still watching or you're listening, you're still here. We will be in the next couple weeks, maybe a month, but no longer than a month. We're going to be doing one-on-one mentoring, whether that's with me or most likely with Hans and Tyler. We're going to be offering that. And if you're watching, for the first 2 people that take us up on this offer, let's do a 10% off the mentoring. We'll do the first 2 people, but you have to be watching and you have to mention the word end of podcast. This is the only time we'll do this. End of podcast. We will give you guys 10% off. We will be offering the one-on-one stuff. It's going to be unlike any other mentorship that you can get because you're getting it from people in the business and multiple people. You're not going to just rely on one person. We're going to really go into depth. We're going to make sure you guys are set. So again, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Take care.